I'd like to start by thanking everyone for attending my speech titled The Perils of Online Poker Addiction. At the end of the speech, I will open the floor to questions. Addiction in today's society comes in many forms. It is very easy to get addicted by almost anything. From computers to careers and even morning coffees to start the day, society at large has become addicted. With the recent popularity of poker, coupled with the public being flooded from televised tournaments and online tournaments, society has increasingly become addicted to poker. This speech will explain the dangers of addiction as it applies to the recent trend of online gambling, but more specifically, online poker. The game of poker has been around for decades. The game cannot be considered a recent trend by any stretch of the imagination. Poker has been portrayed in various movies and television shows for as long as the technology has been around. With the dawn of the internet, poker found itself another outlet to reach a broad audience. It no longer had to hide in the casinos, betting parlors, or frat houses. Poker now had a quick and extensive method to reach the masses. With the idea of televised poker tournaments, many people across the world have been exposed to this poker phenomenon and have ventured to the internet to experiment. Two forces, poker and the internet, quickly joined to create one of the more dominant activities to hit the internet since downloading music. I would like to briefly explain the symptoms of addiction. These symptoms are similar for all the different types of addiction, but I will try to explain them and how they relate to online poker addiction. One symptom would be a person will have a preoccupation with gambling-related thoughts, plans, or activities. They will also have a need to gamble with increased sums of money to produce the same desired excitement, oftentimes exhibiting restlessness or irritability when attempting to cut down or stop gambling. A person will use gambling to escape from problems or relieve feelings of helplessness, anxiety, guilt, or depression. When a person loses money gambling, they try to win it back with more gambling. A person will also lie to conceal gambling activities or their consequences. Occasionally, a person will commit illegal acts to finance gambling. Finally, jeopardizing or losing a significant relationship, job, educational, or career opportunity because of gambling. If everything that I have discussed so far seems very disturbing, one might begin to think, why is this legal? The quick answer to this question is that it is not legal. In Canada and the United States, it is illegal for websites in the two countries to host gambling websites. The companies that run these websites have found a clever loophole in the system that they have conveniently exploited. The loophole is actually quite ingenious and can be appreciated on a certain business savvy level. The companies will host their gambling sites offshore, typically in the Caribbean. An example would be PokerStars.net. When advertising for the gambling sites in North America, they will advertise PokerStars.com. PokerStars.com provides a link to the .net site, thus enabling them to get around the law. The last topic I would like to speak to you about is prevention. I believe there are three key initiatives in the fight against online poker addiction. The first would be government intervention. As I mentioned previously, gaming sites use .com sister sites to do all the advertising, thus getting around the current laws. The government, in turn, will have to attempt to eliminate that loophole. Another aspect in which the government could provide assistance is generating money for public service announcements and increasing awareness. This brings us to the second initiative, awareness. Awareness could come in various forms, in government-funded campaigns or in school programs that educate the youth. Parents will also have to play a vital role. When they speak to their children regarding sex, drugs, and perhaps internet usage should be included. Ultimately, the person doing the gambling will need to take responsibility for themselves and be aware of the warnings. The final initiative would be responsibility. Aside from the individual doing the gambling themselves, pressure must be forced on the gaming companies to act more responsibly in whom they target and how aggressive they market their product. I'd like to thank everyone for listening to my speech. The internet, without question, has made the world an easier place to live. It is the marriage of the internet to ancillary activities, such as poker, which has caused detrimental problems. The technology has done marvelous things for society. It has bridged continents, reshaped the way business is conducted, and allowed people to attain educations. But sadly, this has created a completely new beast that society must treat with caution. There is no doubt that online poker addiction is a problem that is affecting our society. And without some initiatives mentioned earlier, this problem will only continue to grow. Thank you. Are there any questions?
Yeah, what are the terms used to describe a person addicted to poker?
The two terms used to describe someone who is addicted to poker is either a problem or a pathological gambler.
Could you elaborate and explain the difference between the two?
Of course, a problem gambler, it is the term applied to individuals with some but fewer than the 5 of the symptoms discussed earlier. These individuals are at a high risk for developing into pathological gamblers. Pathological gambling is an addiction-like disorder in which gambling-related behavior leads to damaging personal, family, or social consequences. Individuals who experience 5 or more of these symptoms discussed earlier are diagnosed with this disorder. Thank you.